screen. Welcome, everybody. My name is Stephanie Licata. I'm the Senior Learning Strategist. Jason and Peggy, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Peggy Mariner with Cloverleaf. I am the Senior Applied Coaching Content Consultant, which means I've taken personality science, turned it into nudge coaching, and I also work with teams and our users to make sure that the coaching is impacting their team, changing their relationship, and hopefully we see your culture transformed for the better.
Awesome. And I am Jason. I am Cloverleaf's one-man support team, in addition to many other roles here at the company. So if you've ever interacted with support, you are interacting with a real person, and he is talking right now. So looking forward to helping out and being a part of today's webinar.
Awesome. Excellent. Yes, Jason has a major fan club, not just in the chat, but in cities all around the world. So we are excited. These are some of my favorite humans. So I'm excited to be here today. This is a topic that I really like. And so many of you have asked for this topic. So we are excited to have it for you today. The first 90 days, setting up new hires for success. So let's jump right into it. So we're going to do some polls to find out a little bit about you. We're going to talk about the cost of generic onboarding. There is a cost to doing onboarding that's not personalized. We're going to talk about our new Discover feature in action for onboarding. We even wrote you some super duper Discover prompts specifically for onboarding by role for the new hire, for the manager, for the talent leader. And we're going to give you, pardon my little spelling error there. So we're going to give you the most onboarding Discover prompts. We're going to give you a 90-day roadmap for Cloverleaf onboarding. Then Peggy is going to take us through some insights discovery for onboarding. So some of you may not know, we now have insights discovery assessment available. And we'll also tell you how you can find out more about that. We'll give you a call to action and give you some opportunity to provide feedback and ask questions and share some upcoming ways to learn. So first, we're going to give you a little poll and find out a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit more about the role that describes you best. So are you a senior or C-suite talent leader? Are you a director or manager level talent learning leader? Are you a manager of a team? Are you an individual contributor, or are you a coach or consultant? So if you had to pick the role that best describes you, what would that be? So what would that role be that best describes who you are in your organization, in your world, in your profession? Ooh, we already have 90% participation in the poll. What an awesome group. Excellent. All right. 95% participation in the poll. This is amazing. All right, share out those results there. So it looks like we have individual contributors, our biggest group here, followed by managers and director or manager level talent leaders. And we have a few coaches, and we have a senior talent leader also here with us. Awesome, excellent. So nice group. Thank you so much for being here. So what is the cost of generic onboarding? So look, Gallup, you know our friends at Gallup, they know what's going on. Only 12% of employees strongly agree that their organization really has hit the mark with onboarding, okay? So here's why it's important that onboarding really be personalized, right? So generic onboarding, you know what it feels like. It feels a little check the box. It feels like taking some standard, recorded trainings that feel old, outdated. I'll never forget, in 2016, I was working in L&D in a large corporation, and I was watching these trainings with these people that were using flip phones in the recordings. And I was like, how old are these trainings? I was just like, these are from the year of the flood. And I just couldn't believe it. It was really, really, they were old trainings. If you don't have the resource, by the way, Jason has popped it in the chat. You can follow along. If onboarding is personalized, it's going to help the people you bring into your organization. It's going to help integrate them more faster. And it helps them feel like they actually belong to the team. You know what it feels like. They say you hate your job for the first 2 months, right? You feel like lost. Do I know these people? How do I, makes me feel like, that I don't know, who's here, especially if you're remote. A new job when you're remote, you already feel like you're an island because you're remote. And now you have to get to know these people. It builds trust and it can speed up and ramp up engagement. And it can also reduce that first year attrition. People will leave real quickly if they don't feel plugged into that new team. It also increases that clarity about how I should communicate and collaborate with the people that I'm working with. If I feel that my onboarding experience is personalized a little bit to me, I may feel a little bit more engaged in the process and welcomed into the organization. Now, here's how Cloverleaf can help. We obviously offer layered assessments. You know that. You're pros. Our automated coaching is in the flow of work. It's in Slack, Teams, Calendar, in email. And our team dashboard, our thinking style comparison can really help a new person relate to the people that are now new to them. And our new Discover coaching feature can really help a new person get supported more quickly for an individual and for teams to help that new person feel more comfortable more quickly with more intentionality, right? So Cloverleaf really helps personalize that onboarding process. Now, I have seen one organization that I've been part of do onboarding well, and every other organization that I've ever been part of has completely stunk at onboarding, right? It's been awful. And it really is, onboarding is either really good or really bad. There's like it's really hard to find middle ground. So I'm going to ask you a really impromptu question, and I want to hear from you in the chat. I want to give you an opportunity. If you had to describe your overall experience with onboarding over the course of your professional career in one word, we're going to just give us all a laugh in the chat. If you had to pick one word, your overall experience with onboarding over your professional career, what would you pick? That one word, what would you pick? Pop it in the chat. Waste, improvise, bored, unorganized, lost, confusing, ineffective, disorganized, ad hoc, scattered, horrible, fire hose, long, overwhelming, slow. Okay, look at all these words, right? Long, slow, overwhelming, fire hose, boring, ad hoc, confusing, forever.
Forever.
Right? So we have an impromptu poll, useless, right? We have an impromptu poll of all of these amazing people right here to prove our point about onboarding, right? You are the people, you are the heartbeat of professional people, right? We know that it's not going well out there. Okay. So let's get on with it. Google Slides, what is your problem? Google Slides is offended by our onboarding words. Come on. Okay, so we are going to first do a little bit of a live demo of Discover in action for onboarding. But first, we're going to do another quick poll. Now, if you, and by the way, make sure you have your resource here, because we're going to be giving you some really fun Discover prompts. By now, you should have seen, this is what you now see when you log into Cloverleaf. This is our Discover coaching experience. So we want to know if you have been using Discover. So if you would put this quick poll up and let us know, have you used the new Discover feature yet?
Mm-hmm.
So let us know, yes, I've used it. No, I've not used it. Let us know. And when we say Discover, that means you've actually typed something in this little box here. Okay. You've typed something, maybe you've used one of these smart prompts, or maybe you've just asked a question in this box right here. Okay. All right, so we have a good number of people that have not used Discover. So you're going to get to learn all about how to use this amazing feature today. So we have about 79% that have not used it on our webinar.
Gosh.
Okay. All right, thank you. You can close that out. You can close that out. Thank you. All right, you can share it. Awesome. So yes, right now, how do I apply this is the only feature that's available right now. Peggy, do you want to speak to that? Let me get to it.
A couple of things I would love to talk about.
Sure.
I've asked questions to discover both about personal relationships and work relationships. And I will usually pull one or two sentences out of the discover response and bring it to the meeting, to the person that I'm meeting with, and talk about how much they agree. And it has really opened doors. One example that just was transformational in one of my relationships, I thought they were dropping the ball. And at the end of our conversation, I only showed up with one sentence, and it gave me 3 steps on how to action about being more specific. And what it did was help me to understand I was not giving the necessary information to get the feedback I was looking for. And this has been like a year and a half. We have been having this back and forth in different dynamics. And I thought this person was coming up short every time. And what I found out is I was not giving the right information for them to even offer feedback. So that was really powerful. We also are dealing with family stuff, and we've got like parents that we're taking care of and some dementia and memory care. And I asked of my husband, like, how do I support him as he's dealing with this with his father? And what I was doing was stressing him out by like suggesting next steps. So it really changed how I was even able to show up as a marriage partner. It's changed how I can show up as a business partner. And right now we are getting to prototype how to ask these questions, not in cloverleaf.me, but inside of our messaging like Teams and Slack. So it is only going to get closer to you in your flow of work, and it's very dynamic, very helpful, and it's doing a comparison between you and another person and what you need to do to be more effective together. I love it. I love it so much. All of my hopes and dreams of everything personality science offers is like coming true in this.
Okay, so since there's so many people that have not used it, I think it's important that we actually show it, okay? So this Discover actually lets you ask Cloverleaf questions, or you can actually make a statement. And you can actually make a statement about yourself, about someone, about more than one person, or your team. And you're going to get something actionable, and it's going to actually give you ideas. And we're going to do it in the context of new hires, managers, and peers. So I want to draw your attention to the resource, okay? So I gave you a whole Discover prompt library of prompts, right? Now I want you to notice here that they're not all questions, right? So this is a statement. So imagine you're a new hire, and this is just a statement. I want to understand how to make the best impression and you have to know your team name. So let's imagine that this person is a new person on the marketing team. So I want to understand how to make the best impression on the marketing team. Okay. Now,
Another extension we have is inside of Chrome. You can actually talk into the Chrome app or the extension there, and you don't have to type. You can speak it into Discover.
Okay. So for the people who haven't even touched it yet, though, let's just start with the 101.
Yeah.
So I want you to understand I want to understand how to make the best impression on the marketing team. So I want you to notice a few things, right? So it's saying you and your marketing teammates often care about motivation, appreciation, and genuine connection. Now, it's actually going to talk about specific people on the team. Many team members value feeling seen for who they are and recognized for their contributions. So it's talking about certain team members. It's talking about you and what you bring to the team. It's highlighting certain traits. And if you hover over all of these traits, it's going to highlight the specific assessment they are connected to, right? So it's highlighting the traits that are present and populated on the specific team. Now, someone mentioned this. We're gonna click on this. It's going to ask you, how do I apply this? So how do I action this insight? This is interesting, but make it tangible for me, okay? So I click on that, and here are some suggested actions you could take. So I want you to put yourself, though, in the mind of a person who just joined this team. Now let's imagine this person is on a virtual team. They're not in the same space with this team. They just got onboarded. This is saying, hey, take time to notice and name the specific talent or effort each person brings instead of relying on team-wide praise. This says, ask Riley or Casey how they prefer to be appreciated. So maybe if I'm doing meet and greets with Riley or Casey because I'm new, I might say, hey, how do you prefer appreciation or to be recognized? If I'm maybe doing some peer meet and greets in a group setting, it's telling me to invite Jordan and Tariq to share what motivates them in marketing work. It's saying show interest in their values to build trust and common ground. This is telling me as a new person on this team how I can build rapport and acclimate to these human beings, okay? So Peggy, can you just speak to why these two pieces are grayed out right now?
They are still in beta. They're getting tested. So I got to see the prototype of the results today, and those will be coming over the next month and the next quarter. But we're making sure that it's adding value, it's educating you, and it's giving you information that you can use.
Right.
So not there yet, but it's coming.
Good. So now Cynthia asked a question, can this work if no one else in your office is using Cloverleaf? So I asked a question specifically about a team. So if I asked a different question that's not team related, by the way, all of this now is stored, and I can store this. So see where it says view coaching history? This is all stored. So I can go back to this and review it at any time. So I just want to make sure that you know that. Right. So I can ask a different question, like how can I improve my interaction when I am in conflict, right? So I can ask a question that is not related to a team. And if I'm not on a team and no one else is in Cloverleaf, it's going to just give me an insight about myself. So if you don't have other people in your office that are on Cloverleaf, you can absolutely ask a question like this, and you could apply. It's going to give you personal coaching, and it's not related to team. Okay, so since we're specifically focused on onboarding, though, we're going to be asking some questions about people and team. But if you wanted to ask a question and apply it in a specific way to yourself, you could ask a question like this, and you'll notice it just brings up a person. It just brings up you, right? So you'll notice, again, this is just a little bit about how it works. It's much more robust than the insights discovery than we had in the past, right? Google Slides is funny. Okay, so remember, we're focusing on onboarding here. So I want to focus on the different roles that might be part of the onboarding experience. So the manager can use Discover to plan the first one-on-one with a new hire. The new hire can use Discover to understand team norms before their first project. And the peer can use Discover to adapt communication and also to speed up that trust. So this is an example of where a talent leader might introduce a team of how this can be used, where a manager might say, hey, this feature is available to us to welcome this new member. A new hire can be introduced to this to Discover as part of the onboarding process. So every role has a way that they can leverage Discover in onboarding. So I want you to look at the prompt library in your resource, and we're going to test it together. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the resource and look at the prompts right here. So I already showed you one of the prompts for new hires. I showed you how a new hire can say, hey, I want to understand how to make the best impression on my marketing team. Now, notice how that's not a question. You can make a statement. You don't have to ask a question. Now, let's talk about the manager. We have a good chunk of managers on here. So let's say managers that you have a new person that is coming on to the team. And we're going to ask a question, because it's still okay to ask a question. You might want to say, what might motivate new hire name the most in their first 90 days? So we're going to go back to Discover, and I'm going to ask a new coaching question. What might motivate Noor in their first 90 days? Okay, so you want to find out, how do I motivate this person as they get started and they're new? Okay, so it's telling you about Noor, that Noor is actually going to find motivation by connecting with people and by starting conversations and by setting a welcoming tone and feeling included. And that Noor likes to feel greeted. Noor likes to feel part of a group. So it's telling you Noor likes connection and relationship. They tend to lift group spirit. How could you apply it? Invite Noor to help welcome new team members. Ask Noor to lead or join early group interactions. Encourage Noor to check in with teammates, right? So this is telling you Noor would welcome you to be invited to set up one-on-ones with team members, right? So I remember when I first joined an L&D team, my leader said, hey, I'm going to set you up with a bunch of one-on-ones with people in these departments. And I enjoyed that, right? I was happy to do that. So this is telling you Noor would welcome that. So if you were Noor's manager and you wanted to set up a bunch of meet and greets, this is telling you that would actually tap in and motivate Noor to feel welcome in that first 90 days. Right? So you're reading that and you're finding that out, right? So again, there's a bunch of prompts here that are in your resource, again, for the manager. Some of them are questions, some of them are not. Now, what if you're a peer? So all of you that are individual contributors, what if you're the peer of a new hire and you want to build relationship or welcome that new hire? Right? So let's say I want to build trust with this person quickly. Let's say this new hire is being brought in and you have to collaborate with them. So you're going to go back to the Discover. So you're going to say new, and I want to build trust with Noor. Sorry, my chat's in the way there. With Noor quickly. Okay, I want to build trust with Noor quickly. Oh, well, that's going to pick it up because I left off that word, but I think it should be okay. Okay, so it's letting me know how to apply it with Noor. How should I apply it? So it's telling me to set clear intentions by stating my hope for open, honest teamwork, and ask Noor what helps build confidence for both of us, right? I might want to agree on some small steps where each of us can show reliability, like sharing ideas, giving feedback, or follow through. So maybe if Noor and I are assigned to a project together, we might agree on some small steps, we might document on it. I might also, it's telling me to ask Noor how they like to check progress. So I might say, hey, how do you want to document our steps together that we're agreeing to, right? So it's important for me to assume that, not just assume that my way is what Noor likes. Now, remember, I'm a peer on the team, right? So I'm assuming that you are a peer on the team. So if I was a peer on this person's team, right, I would be, and they're onboarding, I would be working alongside them, right? Peggy, can you speak to if I am not on the individual team with them, would I be able to ask a question about this, about somebody?
Yeah, it does have to be in a situation where they've given permission for you to see each other. So if they have permission for everyone in the organization to see them, then they are going to be visible to you, or if you're on a team, or possibly in the coaching network as well. But that means that they need to have given you access to their profile.
Okay, so it's based on individual visibility settings, right? So if they're visible to you now in Cloverleaf, you will be able to search a prompt about them and discover now, right? So I'm not going to search and test all of these, but I just do want to show you that there are prompts for different roles. And if you're a talent leader, though, these are prompts that you can also share with people of different roles as part of the onboarding process to support them in the onboarding process. If you're a talent leader, you could also share with the new hire, hey, here are some prompts that you might want to use and discover as a way of acclimating yourself to the team. Now, also in your resource, not everything is on this slide, but everything is in the resource more detailed out. We've given you a 90-day roadmap for Cloverleaf onboarding, right? So if you want to incorporate, the more you embed Cloverleaf into your people processes, the more you will personalize your people processes instead of them being generic. So obviously, when people come aboard, you want to invite them to complete key assessments as soon as possible. So if you have a set of assessments that you require in your company, you want them to complete them as early as possible. If you're a talent leader, you want to walk through with the new hire all the functionality of Cloverleaf. So you might want to walk through like I just did and show them, here's how you use Discover. Here's your team dashboard, and here's how you might want to learn about some of your team members. Here's how to use the thinking style comparison. You can figure out, compare your different Enneagram, thinking styles, compare your DISC styles, depending on what assessments you have. So you might want to just help them navigate and understand, here's where you log in, here's how you connect your calendar. You might want to just have that as part of your process. If you're using Cloverleaf in your organization, get them acclimated to Cloverleaf as soon as possible. Encourage them to explore the team dashboard. Invite the new hire, the manager, and the peers to use the Discover prompts. You can take them right from the resource that I just shared and guide those conversations, right? Guide the manager to share the prompts with peers as well. You want to introduce daily coaching tips if they're using Slack or Teams or email to help with those first impressions and communication. Remember, if they're using those daily coaching tips and they're getting them in their email, they're getting the tips about team members, it's going to help their self and team awareness, and it's going to help them acclimate to the team better. You want to also encourage a new person to consume their daily coaching tips each day, right? This is a way of also grounding them in an intentional way. Remember, we're a transactional workforce. We start our day with email and calendar. But if they start their day with Cloverleaf, where they get a tip about themselves and a tip about someone else, or they use Discover, they're going to start their day with relationship. And that's going to help them start their day with relatedness to their team, especially if they're remote and they're not seeing those people every day. So in the beginning, make sure you're orienting them with connection and clarity about how to use Cloverleaf. Okay. Now, as you move past weeks 1 and 2, maybe, okay, now they know how to use it. They know where the functionality is. They know how to get to where the things are. Now you want to encourage people to use Cloverleaf for collaboration and feedback. So if you're a manager, you want to encourage peers to share coaching tips about working with the new hire, right? So maybe, again, they're sharing a coaching tip like, hey, I just saw this coaching tip about you, and it says that you're great at this. Like, hey, maybe share where you use that at a previous job. Maybe you're using that to create relatedness, collaboration. A manager, if you're a manager, you might, in the beginning of a team meeting where you ask everyone before the meeting, hey, bring a tip that a coaching Discover tip or a tip you got in your email, bring it, and we're going to start the team meeting by everybody sharing a tip that they consumed in the past week that really resonated with them, or something that actually had them take action. And that's also a way that the new hire sees, hey, we're using these coaching tips, we're using these insights, and you're actually modeling for the team and for the new hire, this is how we use Cloverleaf. You can also invite the new hire to use the thinking styles comparison to uncover work style differences. So let's say you're the manager and you are, maybe the new hire at this point is like struggling with working with someone. You can go into a long conversation with that person, or you can say, hey, let's bring up how you and this person might work differently together. Go to that thinking style comparison, deal with facts, right? Not drama and stories. Hey, let's bring up the Cloverleaf dashboard. Let's get to at the core of why you and Norm might not be seeing eye to eye. Stick with facts and work style differences rather than a lot of details and drama. And this will also help the person stay solution focused, right? So if you notice there's some friction in collaboration. Begin early feedback loops. If you're the manager, use Discover again to identify friction points or motivators. Same that I just showed you with thinking styles. Hey, if you're experiencing friction, hey, go into Discover. Why am I experiencing friction with Tariq? Right? So, hey, I want to encourage you to figure out what might in your personality and behavior with Tariq, what might be going on there. So again, root it in that behavior science. A lot of times we get so embroiled in sort of these gossip conversations, and we try to solve it like through armchair psychology instead of actually what's different about us, right? So I operate like this, Tariq operates like that, right? And so it's telling me, hey, check in with Tariq after discussion to ask what felt supportive or uncomfortable and adjust together. Engage in more honest dialogue. Make a habit of naming your own uncertainties or make these boundaries, right? If this shows trust and helps Tariq feel less alone or being vulnerable. It's telling me right off the bat, share your intended outcome and invite Tariq to say what helps them feel safe speaking up. Here, Tariq, this is my intention. I want you to feel comfortable. It's telling you, here's the approach to use with Tariq to reduce friction. So instead of speculating about Tariq or dramatizing about Tariq, let's use behavioral science to talk about how we might solve this, okay?
Steph, I would even screenshot those actions and send them over and say, hey, I just checked into Cloverleaf and I asked about how we can have a productive meeting. How about we try this to just start a conversation?
Yeah. Hey, do you agree with this? Right? I'm checking in.
Yes.
Right? Excellent. And then if you're in the new hire, begin sharing tips from your own assessments or your daily coaching to help teammates collaborate effectively. Like, hey, I got this in my daily coaching. You may not know this about me. I want to share this with you. If you get a coaching tip that's spot on about yourself and you want to make sure that your team knows it about you, hey, I just want everyone to know this about me. Like, share it in a Teams channel. This is something that is so true about me. Cloverleaf gave it to me. I want you to know about me. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with the Google Slides today. Okay, as we get to the last few weeks, if you're the new hire, you want to transition your focus from learning to obviously making meaningful contributions. So you may want to review team dashboards for where you are using your strengths to fill gaps. So if you're on your team dashboard and you see like, hey, I have this really big strength in goal orientation and achieving goals, here's how I can contribute to this project. I'm really high in dominance. I can really make a difference here. You can use Discover to guide role clarity and performance reflections. I want to know where I can contribute to my team's success. What's an area I can make the most difference on my team? Now you're seeing where I can really plug in. If you're a talent leader or manager, you can encourage new hires to share insights with themselves, with the rest of their team to deepen trust. You're going to use that daily coaching to reinforce different preferred communication styles. Also communicate collaboration habits. This is similar to, again, sharing those tips that are relevant to the team to help them acclimate. Also, if you're the talent leader, you may want to check in with that new hire to conduct a 90-day reflection and combine some Discover insights, do some team comparisons, and ask them to reflect on some learning moments for them to solidify that long-term acclimation into that team. Okay, before I turn it over to Peggy, any questions? Any questions? I've given you a lot of information. All of this is in detail in your resource. Any questions just about sort of integrating all of this into onboarding?
Steph, I have a comment on week 7 through 12, because you're getting into the third and fourth month of, well, after the 12, for many teams, they're going through storming and norming through this onboarding process. And we have heard from teams that have to accelerate through storming, norming so they can get to performing. When they onboard, they often see a decrease in productivity, and teams and leaders are able to accelerate to performing faster when they are using Cloverleaf in their onboarding process, because they know how to have conflict and effective communication more efficiently. And they're also understanding the assets that are on the team, the internal assets, our work assets, without having to fumble through them. You're given a language for it. You can have a conversation about it before it turns into something that's confusing or assigning work to someone that's maybe not that talented at executing it.
Excellent. That's a good call out. Awesome. All righty. So Peggy, we're going to switch gears a little bit and highlight a little bit about another assessment. I'm trying to advance my slide.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone is using Insights Discovery or the Insights out of, it's a European organization. England and Scotland is where a lot of their team is. If they're using that in their organization. So I would love to have anybody chat if they use Insights Discovery for teaming inside of their organization. Just say yes if you are doing it. Insights is a Carl Jung theory assessment. So is 16 types or Myers-Briggs, and so is DISC. And Insights has a little bit different of a take than those two, and people love it. So it speaks in colors often. So there's 4 quadrants of colors. And with Carl Jung, one of the things that Insights does is it only uses the first 3 letters that you might have in Myers-Briggs as well. So it's talking about how you're energized, internal or external, which is introversion, extroversion. And then whether you, it's the 4 colors are dependent on your cognitive pair, which is how you're learning, and then also how you're deciding, drawing those learnings to conclusion. So it breaks up the red, yellow, green, and blue based on your cognitive pair. So the red, it's also because of its association with Carl Jung, it has a similarity to DISC, but it is not a one-to-one exactly. It's a little bit of a different variant for that. So the fiery red is more direct and assertive, very results oriented, and sunshine yellow is more extroverted and enthusiastic, very social. And earth green is the one that likes value in harmony, relationships, reducing chaos. And cool blue is also a chaos reducer, very detail oriented, seeking excellence, and focused on tasks. So one of the visuals that we have is the conscious, which is what you are intending to show up as at work, and the less conscious, which is when you are unobserved, left to your own devices without any goals or objectives, how you might behave. So a Saturday morning by yourself in your sweats could be your less conscious. And I wanted to ask Jason, because he loves Insights. I wanted to ask you about your experience with it.
I think just having the base knowledge of all of the other assessments on the platform, when I got my result, it was very much in line with parts of the other assessments. So, Steph, I can share my screen. I have it pulled up to kind of go through with it. If I can find the share button. Oh, let me share the right tab. There it is. Okay.
We also just had the Insights team out from Scotland and England, and they had their rep in from Seattle for the week, and we were doing planning and collaborating with them. Had a great lunch and learn in Cincinnati with them. So it's been a very fun partnership.
Yeah, this kind of became, I think, one of my favorite assessments, and you can see here I'm in the green. I'm probably aligned with what I do here at Cloverleaf and being in that supporter role. I do value harmony, much probably over anything else, and I'm referencing motivating values here in that. That's my strongest trait. I'm also the most harmonious of the entire Cloverleaf company, which I take a lot of pride in. So seeing that kind of resonate here and then also being referenced here kind of gave it a little bit more validity for me. And then also the tips themselves that it gave me were very direct. I pulled this one up based on my decision-making skills and how I can be overly lenient with non-producers, which often results in problems in matters that require the application of discipline. So, as Peggy mentioned earlier, in kind of using Discover in both professional and personal life, I see this in both as well. Like being a parent, trying to overcome that leniency and being like, no, I got to be more strict here. And then also with, collaborating at work. Not to say that, anything bad happened, but just developing that skill of being a little bit more punctual, persistent accuracy and kind of like helping my coworkers get to that point where I need something from you at this day and time, things like that. So, trying not to let as much slide. So it's been very eye-opening, and I've just been pouring through the tips, and each one has been like, yes, this is me.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Jason. Steph, do you want to answer the question about adding adding insights to the Cloverleaf team? Oh, you're on mute.
So it's different based upon everybody's account structure. So we're going to give you the opportunity, if you're interested in filling out the feedback form, you can let us know if you're interested, and we'll connect you with we'll let your customer success person know. It varies based upon your specific plan. So there's not one thing that's generic or one way to answer that. It depends on everybody's subscription. So if you're interested in finding out more, you'll fill out the feedback form and you'll let us know, and then we'll make sure that your customer success manager connects with you on them. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Peggy, specifically? I did share in the chat about the connection of insights, discovery, and onboarding, but is there anything specific you wanted to share else you wanted to share?
Right now, it's only available on my assessments. So there's not a team view for the insights discovery. And I think that is coming, but we are spending all of our product time getting Discover hitting home runs, and then we'll be addressing the team dashboard. So right now, it's only one person able to view themselves on my assessments. It's not on the team dashboard.
Okay, good. So, but an individual, right, can use, their results to understand their own preferences if they're new on a team, and help, if everybody has their own individual results, that can help them understand their own way of collaborating, and also help, understand the makeup of a team, even if they don't have the team display. I have my own results, and I can understand a little bit more about how to give feedback based upon someone else's results if I share my own information.
Yeah.
Good.
And you might hear people talking about insights by speaking in regard to colors. I'm green, blue. I'm red, yellow. And when you are, the color language is very commonly used for this, and it's one of the ways that that assessment company has tried to take it from just a one-day workshop into the language of communication and teaming.
Yes. Excellent. Well, thank you. So yeah, we just wanted to share that with you as something that if you want to find out more information about, if you fill out the feedback form, I'll tell you in a minute how you can find out more. Okay. So we want to give you a little call to action. And even if you're not currently welcoming someone new onto your team, pick 3 Discover prompts to use this week with a new hire, a peer, or a manager to transform onboarding or collaboration into a personalized, insight-driven experience. Now, there is insight prompts. There is prompts in this resource, and there are prompts in here that, for example, what motivates someone to do their best work? That's not unique to somebody that's new to your team. Right? So you could use some of these prompts that are, even if you're not onboarding someone new. So I strongly encourage you to use some of these prompts. You can also use what we call smart prompts. So if you look, I'm going to just refresh this right here. So these are prompts that are, why is it doing that? I don't want to do that. Let me go back. I'll turn it on. Why is it doing that?
You want to X out the why am I experience friction? Like
okay.
X out the question.
Okay, get rid of that. Okay. Nope, it's still doing that.
No, Steph.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go to your assessments page and then go back to Discover. Oh wow. Oh,
okay.
there it is.
So
there we go.
It's going to actually create some prompts here that are personal to you. You can actually choose some of these. So you can click right on here and it's going to say, how can I leverage Tariq's role to facilitate better team alignment during conflict? So you can actually pick one of these prompts that are designed for you if you want as well. And you can use that as well to support you. Yes, Jason to the rescue. There we go.
Jason, you're our hero.
Jason, did you have some of those other prompts that were in documents that we can share, or no? I don't want to jump the gun. The ones that we had from Mindy.
Oh yeah, they are published. They're under our learning resources collection.
Okay.
One is in managers, and then
So
one.
I'm gonna keep moving. If you want to pop those in the chat.
Yeah, I'm talking about it. I can just link it.
Jason will share some other prompts that are in our help section, which you can use and practice for using Discover. If you haven't been using Discover, I want to encourage you to